we're live. That's right. So, like always, for the trolls, if the trolls come along, we always put this out there. Let's go. All right. So, if you're just joining me, if you're just listening to this, give me a moment to let some people trickle in. If they trickle in, it is early in the morning. So, I don't know if I'm going to catch people coming into this live stream and this impromptu out the blue, randomly just decided to talk about this. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, the topic of the night is Vasily Lomachenko and Masayoshi Nakatani. Who wins? Is Loma done? Is this just the beginning? Is Nakatani good after the Verdejo fight? Can can Lomachenko knock down Nakatani like Verdejo did? Those are the questions. And if Lomachenko looks good fighting Nakatani, does this segue into a rematch with Teofimo Lopez? Would he actually fight him? Or would Teofimo Lopez go for the Devin Haney fight? He's been talking about that, entertaining that. He does say he wants Josh Taylor, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all that he'll fight Josh Taylor. Not in the least. And a part of me feels like, too, this is an angle that hasn't been brought up. And I'm bringing it up now that the delay of the Teofimo Lopez Cambosis fight may be for a different angle. It may be so that Teo fights after Lomachenko. So if Lomachenko fights him next, he has a long layoff again. See how it was playing out now, it was supposed to be Teo was going to fight, and then Loma would fight right after him. So they're both very active. Now what's going to end up happening is you're not going to have Teofimo Lopez fighting until August. So you have July, August. So basically 2 months later, Teo's going to fight, and then however long it takes them to make the fight between Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, if they actually do it, assuming that Teofimo Lopez can beat George Kambosos, then he has a 2 month gap close on that window of where he's more active than Lomachenko. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check to see if I'm actually on the list of streaming channels. Because sometimes I accidentally put this shit as private. Because sometimes it does it by default. So let's just see something. Let's type in boxing. Let's type in filter live. This is the rare time that I'm actually sitting inside. And I do not see my name on the list, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. But anyways, as I was rambling off to myself talking about that there is a strategy involved, if you think about it, about Teo actually taking this fight later than Lomachenko, because like I said, it would give him an activity boost. So therefore he has been more active. So let's say it stretches out for a year. Well, for Teo, that's only 10 months in activity, where it will be a year in activity for Lomachenko after his fight is ended. So there's different angles that you got to look at that strategically it could be smarter, or it could be what people are saying, that it was poor pay-per-view sales, that nobody was buying tickets, nobody was going to buy the pay-per-view, that they had the Charlo card going on pay-per-view, and then they also had the NEOA card going on at the same time. So that would have been two major cards to put Teo and Kambosos up against, and I can guarantee you more people are going to pay to see Charlo than they are Teofimo Lopez and Kambosos. What's going on, LaRon? How you doing, bro? I'm just sitting here late night rambling, as you can tell. But LaRon, I was posing something to myself while I was just talking to myself out loud for the playback. Check this out. Tell me what you think about this, LaRon. So a lot of people have been saying that it was poor ticket sales, and that's what I was talking about as you typed to me, is the reason why the Kambosos um Teofimo Lopez fight got backed up. However, there's another aspect. Think about this, LaRon. We know Bob Arum wants that fight to happen. He wants the rematch between Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. That's the real fight that he wants. More than any fighter he has, he wants them two fighters to fight. Because for some weird reason, he's in love with Lomachenko and he wants Lomachenko to get his belts back. Now, check this out. Had it when it's scheduled, you would have had Teofimo Lopez fight, assuming that he wins. Then you would have had Lomachenko fight, assuming that he wins. So it would have matched up to where they were just fighting within a week or 2 weeks of each other. 2 weeks of each other, they would have been fighting, right? Now, by Teofimo Lopez not doing the fight when he's supposed to, 2 months later in August, right? So let's say that it stretches out, the negotiations take a year. Well, now you've got Lomachenko being a year older, a year inactive, whereas it would only be 10 months for Teofimo Lopez. So what I'm saying is by him delaying the fight for 2 months, if he does go into the Lomachenko fight, no matter what, he'll be 2 months fresher for activity than Lomachenko would. So being that we saw that when Lomachenko fought Teofimo Lopez, he hadn't fought for what, like 12, no, like 13, 14 months, somewhere around there. Like a year and 2 months, I believe 14 months. We saw how bad he looked in the first 6 rounds. So Lomachenko might be one of them guys that can't fight without activity. He might just be bad. So maybe it was strategic why they backed it up. And I was just thinking about that, rambling. What do you think about that? Do you think could be strategic that he wants to keep Lomachenko inactive as long as possible? And that's why he took the 2 month delay. Sorry as I drink this water. But I'm going to get into this Lomachenko talk. Just waiting to see what you think about that theory that I just thought of. And I'll be right back in 2 seconds. All right, let's read what you wrote. Let's see. I don't think that time out of the ring will do too much damage. That's strategic, but I'm picking Loma next time. He said Lomax. He said Lima and Lomax. You know what though, man? LaRon, what's going on, Dead Game Boxing? The link is in the chat if you want to join the panel. You know what Lomax is? That is Lomachenko's final form. You just combined the Matrix and Lomachenko together to get Lomax. You know what? That needs to be his new nickname. We need to roll with that, Lomax. That's what we gonna call Lomachenko if he beats Nakatani. We gonna rebrand him as Lomax. Oh man, that is funny as shit. You straight up said Lomax. All right, let me create a banner real fast while we're bullshit. Lomax. I'm gonna type in Lomax versus Naka. So we're gonna purposely put this as the banner. Let's edit the banner. I like it when it's scrolling. There we go. Now scroll across the screen. Yeah, but I can't even talk. Getting tongue tied. Screen. Holy shit. But yeah, let me do this again just in case Dead Game didn't see it. If he wants to jump on the panel, talk about this, we can hit this little link right here. I'm gonna let y'all know too, I'm like extremely tired, so I'm running on fumes. I don't know if y'all could tell, but I'm gonna try to keep it together without stumbling over my words, like saying screen. Holy shit. but but yeah. In the rematch, you know what, LeRon? Depending on how Lomachenko looks, I may pick Lomachenko again. I picked him the first time to beat Teofimo Lopez, and I believe it was a draw. I thought Lomachenko won the second round, and I thought Teofimo Lopez won the 12th round. The other rounds is what? One I gave to Teofimo Lopez. 3 through 6 I gave to Teofimo Lopez. I gave 7 through 11 to Lomachenko, so I had it 6-6. Um, why is it not letting you? I see you, but it's not letting me add you. It says you're authenticated through YouTube. What the heck? Hold on 1 second. LaRon, I see you back there, but it's not letting me add you. Yeah, I'm trying to add you right now. I see you in the private chat. I don't know why. So what it's showing on my end, LaRon, is it shows that it's got a webcam and it's like got a line going through it, slashing through the middle of it. And maybe you have to turn on microphone. I don't know. It might be because you don't have a mic or a cam. All right, bro. But let's see if we can get LaRon in here. I don't think I've ever even heard LaRon speak. Let's see here. If anybody's out there watching, reading the screen, wondering who is Lomax, that is Lomachenko's new name. It's when Loma goes the Matrix, they combine into one, and he is leveled up. That is Lomax. But I do agree with what LaRon was saying. I do think Teofimo Lopez would more than likely lose to Lomachenko in a rematch. I watched Lomachenko go pretty much docile for 6 straight rounds, moving around the ring like a moving punching bag. And when you've got a fighter who doesn't punch back and you can't hurt him or get him out of there in the first 6 rounds, that's an issue. All bad. I'll try to get on again right quick. All right, LaRon. See if they're gonna let you on or it's not. But and then whenever I saw Lomachenko turn it on Teofimo Lopez, and we'll get into Nakatani in a minute. But whenever he turned on the gas, he pretty much was doing a one-sided ass whooping to Teofimo Lopez. Every punch he threw, he couldn't miss. It looked like he was punching at 100% land ratio. So, yeah, at first I didn't know because Lomachenko's older and he's a speed fighter, and the first thing you lose is speed. And when you're a speed fighter, getting old is the worst thing that can happen to you. Case in point, Roy Jones Jr. But you could also argue that the weight fluctuation with Roy Jones Jr. was another thing, and not so much the age. But speed fighters like Lomachenko do get affected by age more than other style fighters. Reactionary fighters getting old is the worst thing that can happen to them. So at first I was like, I think Tio would probably do better in a rematch against Loma. But the more I look at that fight and the more I think about it, I think Loma will beat Teofimo Lopez in a rematch. And I think he'll beat him pretty convincingly if they do a rematch, in all honesty, because Tio just don't have a defense. And that's why I thought he was going to lose when they first fought. I I don't know. I mean, I predicted wrong. It's one of the few ones I've gotten wrong. I want to say my record is 50 something right and 8 wrong, that being one of them. But yeah, I think if they fight again, I definitely have to go with Lomachenko in the rematch. I just don't think Tio will beat an act of Lomachenko. Outside of that, I'm waiting to see if LaRon can get back on in the back. I don't know if he's tried. If not, that's cool. If you're listening, watching in the background, on YouTube, whatever. You can click the link. You can join. Anybody's welcome to these panels. Um, I never kick anybody off for having a difference of opinion. We can have a dialogue. It's all respect. As long as you respect me, I will respect you. We don't have to agree, but we can talk about our disagreements. I got to go into my settings to change. Yeah, I'm not sure, LaRon. But I just work for the jump, so I don't know how to help you. Plus, I don't know if you're on your cell phone or your computer. I'm on a cell phone. I'm always on a cell phone whenever I'm on StreamYard. And I don't like it. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, what I hate most about StreamYard or like jumping on other people's panels is very chaotic, right? You have a whole bunch of people that'll be talking at one time. And I like when people like cease, when there's a calm to the storm, and then you talk, then there's a cease, then the next person talks, and so on. Because the thing about it is, when there's five people talking at once, you don't know who's being heard. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hear what everybody else is hearing while you're talking on the panel. So it could be four other mics overpowering yours, and you just talking to yourself for no reason. That's why I don't like it. It's not like a conversation where people are face to face and you know what's being heard because you're there hearing it. But anyways, I digress. Back to the point at hand. So we're here to talk about Lomachenko, Nakatani, who wins, and if Lomachenko loses, is his career over? That is the biggest question of it, because what is he, 14-2 now, I believe? He's got 14 wins, 2 losses. Those 2 losses, one's coming to Teofimo Lopez here recently in his last fight, and then the other loss was early in his career in his second fight, and that was against Salido. Now, that was a fight a lot of people believe Lomachenko actually won, and it was also a fight with a lot of controversy where Salido was headbutting, elbowing, and hitting Lomachenko with 1,000 low blows. The referee did nothing. And if I remember correctly, in that Salido fight, Lomachenko actually got deducted a point for holding, I think, if I remember correctly. So everything was stacked against him to lose that fight, and he did. Now, the one thing that I did not like about it is, and what I'm noticing about this Teofimo Lopez fight is this. Why did Lomachenko not try to rematch Salido? Why did he not push for that fight as hard as he's trying to push for the Teofimo Lopez fight? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why one loss is greater than another loss. And I remember seeing interviews with Lomachenko where he was talking about that he didn't want the Salido fight. It didn't matter to him. He wasn't going to chase him. But yet here he is years later, and he got a loss, but he's trying to chase Teofimo Lopez and get a rematch. So I don't really understand. Whenever I watched the Lomachenko Reloaded, they were talking about it as if Lomachenko had never gotten a loss before, as if Teofimo Lopez was his first loss, and it wasn't, on paper at least. So the whole setting is just a bit odd to me about that. And the one good thing I will say about Lomachenko was this. I have seen a change in his personality. And the reason why I say that's a good thing is he kind of did the same thing that like Deontay Wilder's doing now, where he came up with a bunch of excuses. Not only did he come up with excuses, he said it was a shoulder. He said, well, they showed pictures of the surgery. I don't know how bad his shoulder actually affected him in that fight. I don't know if it's a legitimate excuse or not. I know the surgery is real, but I really don't know how bad the shoulder was. But what I did not like was, at first, Lomachenko was saying that he thought he won the fight. Then he gave this like untold rule, untalked about rule of like European boxing, where if somebody wins the first 6 rounds, but you win the last 6 rounds, you win the fight, because the last 3 rounds are all that matter because of the championship rounds. And I'm thinking to myself, this shit doesn't add up, bro, because 6-6 is a draw. You don't get bonus points for winning rounds late in a fight. That shit didn't make sense. But he was trying to say some bullshit that he won 2 out of the 3 championship rounds. So therefore, he should be the winner. Then he changed his mindset, and he changed his opinion on the fight here recently to where he said that he believed the fight was a draw. Now, I can go with that. I can go with him believing it's a draw because I believe it should have been a draw, but I would not argue with somebody saying that Teofimo Lopez won because it all comes down to that second round and how you would score it. What do you like? Do you like the cleaner shots, or do you like the more consistent grazing shots? Do you like the aggression of the guy coming forward? Do you like the guy fighting off the back foot, making the guy coming forward miss a lot? So it all comes down to that second round, how you would judge it. So the point I'm trying to make is this: with Deontay Wilder, what I do not like is his mindset has not changed. He still believes in the excuses, and he believes the only reason why he lost was because of these conspiracy theories. Whereas Lomachenko, he realizes he did not win the fight. At first, he was saying he won the fight, but he's changed his mindset to saying that he believed it was a draw. So that tells you that he at least has watched the fight, learned from the fight, and obviously has seen what he has done wrong in the fight, because he's reevaluating it to say that he no longer believes he won the fight. So that's a good thing. That means when he went back in there, he has been training hard, and he does have the mindset of what he needs to do to get right, because he realizes that what he did was not right by admitting that he no longer believes he won. Good thing right there. I like that mentality. Now, the thing about it is Nakatani is coming off a very hard fight with Verdejo. That's one of them fights that could take a lot out of you. So even though Lomachenko's coming off of a loss and Nakatani's coming off of a win, Nakatani might be more affected from his win than Lomachenko is affected from his loss. Because Lomachenko didn't really go into a war with Teofimo Lopez. The first half of the fight, like I said, was more or less inactivity. It was more of a he lost the rounds because he didn't do anything, not because he was being beat up. The only damage he really sustained in that fight came in the 12th round, and that was it. That was really the only time Teofimo Lopez was actually catching him, putting combinations together, and looking to actually inflict some type of damage and some type of hurt on Lomachenko. However, when you look at Nakatani's last fight, the whole fight was a war. The whole fight from beginning to end, to when he finally got Verdejo out of there. So, I mean, it was a war. And when you fight a war like that, the next fight you come in, you may not be the same fighter that you was before that war. So again, how I look at this is you got one guy coming off of a loss, but he really didn't take a lot of damage. Yeah, his face got a little bruised up towards the end of the fight, but it was very limited, the damage that he took. Then you have another guy who won his fight, but it was a war. So I truly feel from a who's in a better position condition wise is probably Lomachenko. It is more than likely Lomachenko coming into this fight is going to be, at least health wise, better off coming in. So that's what I believe first and foremost. I believe Nakatani's win has affected him a lot more than Lomachenko's loss has affected him. If anything, with Lomachenko, it may have relit a fire. Now, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because Lomachenko could get sloppy. He may go in here and try to impress everybody, try to show everybody that he could beat Nakatani in a way that Teofimo Lopez could not beat him, leave himself open and get himself fucked up. That's a possibility. He may be overly aggressive in this fight. And if he comes in overly aggressive with a guy like Nakatani who can punch hard and knock you out, he may have some problems, because it's kind of like, I'll give a case in point. What's going on, regulator? How you doing? To get back to what I was saying, it's kind of like when you look at Anthony Joshua versus Andrew Ruiz Jr. Okay, the first fight, you had Deontay Wilder who just starched Dominic Brazil, devastating knockout, right? Then you had Anthony Joshua drop Andrew Ruiz Jr. Well, the minute he dropped him, he threw all caution to the wind and tried to knock him out, and ended up getting caught on the top of the head and never recovered and got himself put out, because he stopped fighting smart and he got caught. And I feel like Anthony Joshua was only trying to get a stoppage like that was because he was trying to outdo Deontay Wilder. Now, to bring that back to where it makes sense, you have Lomachenko going into this fight trying to outdo Teofimo Lopez, trying to show the world that he's better than Teofimo Lopez, that it was a shoulder injury, that he caught him on a bad night, that it was because of the inactivity and all the other excuses you want to say. by making an example out of Nakatani. That could be a very bad thing because, like Anthony Joshua, who I brought up, it could be the downfall of Lomachenko if he throws all caution to the wind and he tries to do something he might not be able to do or might not should put himself in the position that he'll put himself in to attempt to do what he wants to do. Dangerous. And that's the only downside that I see to how Lomachenko's talking. Now, who's the more technical fighter? By far, Lomachenko is way more technically skilled than Nakatani. Nakatani, to me, is not the greatest boxer. He's very basic. By the way, moderator, how you doing, bro? Let me see. Let me read this comment real fast. I think Lomax will be a lot more aggressive in the second fight, similar to how Fury ended the first fight with Wilder and came on in the second. You're talking about against Teofimo Lopez. We'll go to that, LeBron, in just a second. And I agree with you, especially after seeing the second half of that fight with Tio and Loma. He'll start at 100 come round one. It won't be a slow start. He'll jump on top of them quick if they do have a rematch. I agree with you 100%. Because Loma was hurting Teofimo Lopez in that second half. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. He had them all bruised up, lumped up. He was hurting them. But anyways, coming back full circle. To me, Nakatani is more basic of a fighter. I don't see the same type of angles. Really, truthfully, I don't even see Nakatani really being that great at controlling the distance with his height. I don't know how tall Nakatani is. Was he 5'10", 5'11"? I know he's somewhere in there. He's around 5'10", 5'11". I want to say 5'10", but he might be 5'11". I didn't even know UFC was on. Wait, the Ultimate Fighter. Oh, that's the one where they have like the tournament, the round robin of fighting each other to see who can make it to the end to become a UFC fighter. Is that what you're watching? I didn't even know that still comes on if that is what you're watching. But yeah, I didn't even know they still did that, bro. I thought that shit ended with GSP. Damn, that shows you how little UFC I watch. MMA I know. Um, but anyways, to me, Nakatani is not even the best at controlling distance because, as you saw with the much shorter Verdejo, he stayed on top of Nakatani, and I don't feel like Verdejo by any means is a faster boxer, more agile, or skilled boxer than Lomachenko. So if Verdejo can stay on top of Nakatani, I have all ideas Lomachenko is going to be able to do it. It's just going to be, can Lomachenko handle the power, the punching power of Nakatani? And I believe he can. Because I'm going to be honest, Lomachenko took every shot Tio had to give him in the 12th round, and he didn't fall. I've never seen Lomachenko hurt. I'm gonna say that right now, and I said that before he fought Teofimo Lopez. Whenever I had arguments with people talking about that Teofimo Lopez was gonna knock him out, and I was like, I don't believe Tio can knock out Lomachenko because I've never seen him hurt. Now people will bring up Linares. Well, Linares knocked him down, but they don't want to bring up the fact of how Linares knocked down Lomachenko. They don't want to bring up the fact that Lomachenko was toying with Linares. He was playing with him like a cat playing with a mouse. Like he was just toying with him, and he leaped in, got caught, knocked off balance, and he got up smiling. And then he proceeded to take it serious and beat the living shit out of Linares and get him out of there. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if Nakatani can knock out Lomachenko because I've never actually seen him hurt. Unless y'all in the chat can tell me a time that y'all can think of, but I can't think of any. Like I saw, let me tell you something. If you could take 32,000 nut shots in one fight and not go down, you're tough. And that's what he did against Salido. He took 32,000 nut shots and was still up. So I don't think Nakatani's going to drop him. And I don't think Nakatani can knock him out. I believe Nakatani could hurt him. I believe he might be able to buzz him, but I don't believe he could put him away. And I don't believe he's going to be able to put him down. I don't think he is, and I don't think Lomachenko is going to come in here doing the Matador bullshit and taunting him. Like I said, listen to Lomachenko talk. He's coming in here with a purpose, with a mindset to win better than Teofimo Lopez, because what he wants to do, and I said this a long time ago. I believe I have videos up saying this shit. What he wants to do is show that it was a fluke, that he would never in a million years lose to Teofimo Lopez again. The only reason why he really lost is, like I said earlier, because of the shoulder, etc., etc., etc. Just not his night. And that's why he picked Nakatani, because Nakatani gave Teofimo Lopez such a hard fucking fight that Teofimo Lopez was crying after the fight, talking about, I'll never fight another tour fighter again. Never again. Like, I don't even know how you consider yourself on some champion shit and you crying about never fighting a tall fighter again, but yet you're calling out Josh Taylor, who is every bit as tall as Nakatani, or maybe slightly shorter. I don't know. I don't remember how tall Nakatani is. Like I said, he's either. Can somebody in the chat tell me, is he 5'11" or is he 5'10"? He might be 5'11", so he may be an inch taller than Josh Taylor. But again, yep, no more tall fighters. Yep, but yet, boxing learner, he talking about he want to fight Josh Taylor, who's like 5'10" himself. So 5'11" and a half. Okay, I was close. 5'11". So he's a half an inch under 6 foot. But again, the point of what I was saying was I believe Lomachenko is going to go in there full throttle, and he's going in there to prove a point that he is better than Teofimo Lopez. Now, the question is, can you prove that you're better than somebody who beat you by beating somebody better than they beat that somebody? I don't know. I really do not know. Even if Lomachenko came out here and beat up Nakatani so bad within the first 4 rounds, he no-mossed him. Like he had a streak going for a while. I believe it was like 4 fighters in a row he no-mossed. If he comes in here and no-mosses Nakatani, I still don't know if that proves to anyone that you're a better fighter than the guy that beat you. Yeah, you did better, but then the argument comes into play where people like to say, well, styles make fights. Styles make fights and triangle theories and all this other bullshit. So again, to me, it makes sense why he's doing it, but personally, I believe he should have went for Devin Haney if he could have got that fight. I think the Devin Haney fight would have gave him more of a stake for a rematch at Tio than Nakatani. I understand the Nakatani. I understand the mindset. Beat him better than Tio did. Look good doing it, whereas Tio looked bad doing it. But at the end of the day, the real WBC belt, whether people like it or not, is around the waist of Devin Haney. So if Lomachenko would have fought Devin Haney and beat him, he would have had the real WBC belt. Now you get the real undisputed fight in the rematch. Because I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. I don't look at Teofimo Lopez like he's undisputed. I don't believe he is. Do I think that Devin Haney has the resume of a Teofimo Lopez? Fuck no. But that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the fact that Lomachenko vacated, and because he vacated, because he didn't want to fight Devin Haney got the real belt. And that's just how I look at it. So again, had Loma went for Devin Haney, he would have had the real belt, and then he could have used that to try to get Tio into a fight. You said Devin Haney should be his next opponent. Well, that's the thing about it, though, boxing learner. It might not be, because after Tio fights Cambosis, if he wins, he may fight Devin Haney. Or I tell you what, Bob Arum might just say fuck it and let him fight Josh Taylor and watch him get his ass whooped. Because with Tio going over the Triller and doing all the bullshit that he did, and Bob being the type of person that he is, he may throw the motherfucking gambit at at Teofimo Lopez. He may throw every motherfucker at him. He may say, fuck it. You want Josh Taylor, you're going to fight Ramirez first. Or you're going to fight a Regis Prograis first. he might fucking run this dude through the gauntlet and get him so fucking beat up, he's eventually going to lose because that's the type of person Bob Arum is. He's very fucking shady. He holds grudges, and it's amazing he didn't try to shelf Teofimo Lopez because he's done it to so many fighters. He has shelved so many fighters. Let me see. As long as Haney holds that belt, I can't call. And that's I agree with you too, Larod. I agree with you 1,000%. And the thing about it is, I believe Teofimo Lopez will beat Devin Haney. But again, that's irrelevant. Devin Haney is the real champion. And until he gets defeated by Teofimo Lopez or whoever gets Teofimo Lopez's belts, whether it be Cambosis, Lomachenko, whatever, until Devin Haney gets beat, there will be no undisputed champion at that weight class. So I don't know. You know what would be another good fight? Because Shakur Stevenson's not going to get Valdez. Valdez does not want to fight him. What I think would make for a good fight is just let Bob Arum. Bob Arum, if you're listening out there, if you're one of my few listeners, go ahead and move Shakur Stevenson up and let him fight Tio. Because I believe Shakur Stevenson will beat the living shit out of Tio on the scorecards. I don't think you can knock him out, but I think he'll box circles around him. He will box fucking circles around him. Then you could put Shakur in there with Devin Haney, and you have light styles, but I think Shakur hits a lot harder. I think Shakur hits a lot more accurate, and I think he's got a way better defense than Devin Haney. So in all aspects of the game, I think Shakur. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, just because I brought his name up. I think Shakur Stevenson could be what we would consider the next Floyd Mayweather Jr. I really believe, I've been saying it for years now. I believe he has the potential to be on that level. Looking at how well he reads these guys, uh, you can see that Guts in the background pick, nice. Gutsu, yeah, man, Berserk, one of the best animes, mangas that there is, like hands down, the God Hand, all that. And Guts had a fucked up life, man. Guts had a horrible life. Just to go on a tangent real fast since he brought up Guts. Yeah, Gutsu, he had a horrible life. This dude was born in his mom after his mom was hung. Then I believe somebody cut her stomach open and he fell out alive as a baby. Like that's a fucking rough life to be born to. Your mom was hung while you were still in the womb and you survived it. The dude's been through a lot of shit. But yeah, one of my favorite anime characters. He's had a lot of other fucked up shit I won't bring up happen to him, but yeah, from a boy to a man, all types of fucked up shit. Let me see. Did you know the guy who wrote it died? No, I did not know the guy that wrote it died. What? Hold on. We got to Google this. We're taking a whole boxing detour right now. We're taking a whole boxing detour. All right, Kentaro, when did he die? Dies at 54 years old. Oh, man. What? He died last month, a month ago today. He died on the 25th of last month. What? No, he died on May 6th. I take that back. I retract what I said. He died on May 6th at 54 years old. Oh. That just ruined my whole mood. That just ruined my whole mood. So, LeRon, what I was talking about is there's a anime or a manga. So it's both. There's an anime version, but it came from the manga. The name of the manga is Berserk. All right. The main character is Guts, or the protagonist is Guts, if you want to say it like that. When he was born, he was inside his mom's womb. She was hung, killed, and he was born inside of her womb after she was hung from a tree. And I believe like some soldiers riding by like slit her stomach open and he fell out as a baby and he was alive. And or they might have been mercenaries, and that's why they took him, because he was alive after they cut her stomach open. So dude has a crazy backstory. Crazy backstory. But anyways, I done got sidetracked and forgot where we was going, what I was talking about. Oh, Shakur Stevenson. Let me see. I say Shakur will be the first Shakur. The guys that follow him will be saying, I'm trying to be the next Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, I got you, LeRon. And that's a good point. But I'm just saying that, he will be the next him. I agree with that. But as far as him being at the end of Mayweather's career, that's the one that's going to pick up the torch for the lower weight classes. Because, of course, he won't make it up there to heavyweight. He would be lucky to make it to middleweight. So I'm thinking that around 147 is where he'll cap off. At welterweight, maybe he could make super welter, junior middle, 154, maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't think he's built for that. I think his cap will be welterweight, just like Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's why I say there's a lot of similarities with their accuracy, their defense, how they don't really get hit. Although Mayweather, his stats were built off a lot harder competition than what Shakur's been fighting right now. They still their stats on paper are very similar. But yeah, I think Shakur Stevenson could beat Teofimo Lopez right now. No tune-ups, no warm-ups needed at 135. I think he can go ahead and jump up and do it. But he wants Oscar Valdez, so that's the fight he's going to try to get. And I think he beats Valdez. And I'm the one that picked Valdez to beat Burchell. I'm on I'm on record saying that. I'm on record predicting that Valdez would beat Burchell. And I believe I said by knockout. I think if I remember correctly, I was on several different people's channels where I said I would not be surprised, because I just felt like Valdez, when it came down to it, I knew it was going to be fireworks. And I just felt like Valdez had more. I don't know why. I just felt like he had more heart, more drive. And I thought that would carry him through, and it did. Well, not really, because he just completely outclassed. He just outclassed him. Like he made him look slow, and he couldn't even get off it. So he didn't even have to go the way that I said. I picked Valdez because I knew Valdez was going to win. Only time will tell how great Shakur will be. Yeah, I agree with you. But the thing about this statement right here is, and the reason why I brought up comparing them to Mayweather is because the people that or what who people like to compare to Mayweather right now is Devin Haney, and I don't see it. I do not believe Devin Haney will ever be anywhere near as great as Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's a bad comparison. Shakur, on the other hand, is the one that I think will be the one to do it. Unless some other prospect comes along that's amazing that we don't know about in like 3 or 4 more years. Yeah, he made him look hella slow. That's what I'm saying. It didn't even have to go down the way that I thought it was going to go down, because he was just outspeeding him, outclassing him. But I can promise you, Valdez will not make Shakur Stevenson look slow. I can promise y'all that. Ain't no fucking way. No fucking way. And the thing that I look about when I look at Shakur, the thing that I look at the most is this. It's his reaction time. It's the way that he is reacting to the fighters he is fighting when they start to move. And that's where people start to talk about, oh, he's boring. He's boring. It's not that he's boring, it's that he's already disengaging before the other guy can even fully engage. So he's very good at reading. And the last person to read people like that was Mayweather. And that's why I compare the two so closely. It's the way that he disengages when they try to engage. It's the way that he can control the pocket and get out of the pocket before he's in danger of being hurt. So very good, very good. At least while he's young, he'll be very good. Because again, like Lomachenko, what I brought up earlier, speed fighters, reactionary fighters like that, they tend to fade as they get older, as age takes over and they slow down. Smarter fighter, faster and more explosive. Valdez. So you got Valdez over Shakur? I don't think so, man. You know, Valdez could have fought Shakur in the last weight class. He said Lomachenko will stop Nakatani. Now, here's the thing about that. I don't know if I agree with that statement. Um, I definitely believe Lomachenko was about to outclass him. I believe that this is going to be a one-sided fight. I think Nakatani might land a shot here or there, but looking at how Verdejo swarmed him and could stay on top of him, I don't think there's anything Nakatani can do to get Lomachenko off of him. Now, does he stop him? I don't know. I do not know because Nakatani is very tough. Very tough. He's fought with broken orbital bones, so he's not doing no Triple D, no Daniel Dubois, no Billy Joe Saunders shit to where he gets hurt and he quits. No, he's on that NEOA type style. The Japanese people are built different. You break their orbital bone, they keep fighting. So LaRon says he agrees with you, but he believes it'll be on the stool. Me, I the only way I see the fight stopping on the stool is if the corner throws in the towel. If the coach says that they don't want him to continue to fight, I just cannot see Nakatani giving up. I can't see him quitting. I've seen I've seen him take a lot of damage in fights and keep fighting. So I don't think he will quit on his own accord. I think it will have to be the corner calling in the stoppage. It will not be him. I believe that even if he's broken down, I believe he'd come out there with one leg hopping and keep fighting. If he lost his arms, he would come out there trying to hit Lomachenko with his chest. I just think he's tough. I don't think he'll give up. Well, I can say this though. Lomachenko is going to have to turn it up earlier. He cannot wait till the third or fourth round to turn it up, especially after the display he just showed against Teofimo Lopez. If he has lackluster early rounds, it's going to really hurt his stock because when people saw him not fight for 6 rounds straight, it was a shock. And if he does it again, his stock is going to go way down. Even if he wins, his stock is going to go down. This dude has got to fight from the beginning. He cannot take these rounds off. He cannot just circle and play with them. He's got to go in there and break them down not only late but early. He's got to. What's going on, Hablo? How you doing? I'll be right back, y'all. I'm gonna go grab a bottle of water. All right, let's see here. Oh, I agree with you 1,000% on this comment right here. Lomachenko versus Nakatani is far better than Davis versus Barrios. I cannot agree with you more with that statement. I cannot, and I will speak on that in just a moment. Let me read these couple of little comments, and then I'll come back to that. I think Oscar can pull it off. I think Eddie Reynosa will have a good game plan, and Oscar will use his tendency to make a hard fight for Shakur. And I understand what you're saying, boxing learner, but my thing is this. I don't think he physically can make it hard for Shakur. I just think he'll always be one step behind. No matter how well he's trained, no matter what type of camp he goes through, no matter who they put in front of him to prepare for him, I think he's always going to be a step behind, and it won't matter. And that's why I don't think that's the whole reason why he didn't fight him in the last weight class before they both moved up. I don't think he has the physical attributes to be able to beat him, to be able to catch him. I think he's just always going to, like I said, he's always going to be a step behind. But let's go back to this real fast. Lomachenko and Nakatani being a better fight than Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios. Now, let me tell you why I agree with this, and I've said this to a lot of people. The Tank Davis fight is bullshit. I was listening. I actually did a video about it today. So if you want to listen to the video, you can do that. But I'm pretty much going to say what I said in the video now, just abbreviated. That fight is bullshit. Whenever I was watching the press conference and listening to Luke Thomas talk about Mario Barrios. They was talking about him as if he was the real champion of the division. He's not. Josh Taylor is. Josh Taylor is the only champion of that division. I don't give a fuck who the Intercontinentals are. I don't give a fuck who the Interims are. I don't give a fuck who has the baby belts. There's only one champion at 140, and that's Josh Taylor. And he is the only champion because he beat Ramirez. He's undisputed. So the fact that people believe that Tank Davis is going to be another division champion off of Mario Barrios is fucking ridiculous. I said 4 divisions in my video. He'd be a 3 division because he never won a belt at 135. So, my bad. But anyways, the fact that let me see what you wrote real fast. It's funny how delusional some Haney fans are. They saying Loma ducked Haney and Haney will Loma. All right, we'll come back to that. But I want to stay on this. I want to stay on topic real fast about Barrios. So here's my problem. And I like Tank Davis a lot. I really like Tank Davis. What I don't like about Tank Davis is I feel like Mayweather has held him back. I feel like the moves that they have made with Tank, while it may have put money in his pocket, he probably could have made a hell of a lot more money if he would have fought the fights he needed to fight or should have fought. Um, they're moving him strategically smart by putting him in there with guys like Barrios to say he's a champion, even though Barrios isn't a real champion at that division. I don't believe Mario Barrios could beat any of the top guys. I believe Regis would knock him the fuck out. I believe Ramirez would knock him the fuck out. Josh Taylor would knock him the fuck out. And I could keep going on with the list of guys at 140 that would completely annihilate Mario Barrios. And at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. While he does have the regular WBA belt, at the end of the day, this is another 122-pound fighter Tank Davis is fighting. Another guy that was 122 pounds when they started that he is fighting. It's getting old, and I'm getting tired of seeing this dude fight 122-pound fighters because that is what Mario's Barrios is. He's a natural 122-pound fighter who moved up to 140. So that's why I don't like the fight. Now, let's go to this. Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. Here's the thing about it. I'm not going to really say that Lomachenko would or would not beat Devin Haney at this moment because I need to see what Lomachenko looks like coming back after this loss against Nakatani. Now, let's say that he is still the vintage Lomachenko of old, then I will agree with you that Devin Haney will get severely beat the fuck up. He will get beat the fuck up by Lomachenko, and it won't even be competitive. I believe wholeheartedly, stylistically, Lomachenko will beat the living shit out of Devin Haney because here's the thing about it. Devin Haney has no type of punching power. He doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the problem. Devin Haney is extremely fast on his feet, and he's been able to use his speed to win fights, to get himself out of trouble, to keep people away from him. He can't do it with power, but he can do it with speed by hitting them and moving. The problem is Lomachenko is just as fucking fast, and he can hit. So Devin Haney is going to be forced to be in the pocket with Lomachenko the whole fucking fight for 3 minutes of 12 rounds. The whole fucking fight while it goes on, Devin Haney will be in the pocket with Lomachenko because Lomachenko is not going to let him move around the ring. He's not going to let him run away. He's not going to let him get away. He's going to stay on top of him. And if Devin Haney can't hurt Loma, Loma's going to hurt him. And it's just not a good matchup for Devin Haney. So I do agree with that. Assuming that Lomachenko is still the same fighter of old since the Tio loss, yes, I agree. He will beat Devin Haney. I want to see him fight Devin Haney next. Fuck Teofimo Lopez. Go for Devin Haney. If you can beat Devin Haney, then do a real undisputed with Teofimo Lopez. Notice I said real because that WBC franchise is not a real fucking belt. Let's see here. Tank Davis is protected as fuck. Lopez, Loma, Taylor. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. There's a lot of fighters I believe. I think Tank can beat Lopez. And not only do I think Tank can beat Lopez, I think he can knock him out. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. Against Lomachenko, I think it's a 50-50 fight. But let me get to what I'm gonna tell you. If Tank Davis gets in there with Josh Taylor, he is going to be sleeping. He will be the one knocked out in that fight. They do not need to put Tank Davis, especially if it's his second fight at 140, in there with Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is on another fucking level. And I'm not saying Tank isn't on another level, but there are levels to the levels. And in the real world, weight matters. Josh Taylor is too big for Tank Davis, especially if Tank Davis fights him in the second fight at 140. He's too big. He's too big. Tank will get beat up badly, I believe. But as far as the guys at 135, I think there's a good chance that Tank Davis could beat all of them. In all honesty. He says, how long has Mario Barrios been at 140? I want to say 5 or 6 fights. Hey, here's what we'll do. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. We can look it up right now. I'm never in front of the computer. But instead of me guessing, let's just type it in and look it up. How many fights has he been? I'll say 7 at the most. 5 to 7, I'm going to guess. So let's look. Where did he first go? 140. I want to say that the Cruz fight looks like his first fight at 140. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9. Oh, he's had 9 fights. It looks like 9 fights at 140. Looks like Cruz, Jose Luis Rodriguez, Liam Nelson, Eddie Bernardo, Jose Roman, Richard Zamora. Then you've got Juan Jose. Wow, my brain's like doing something weird. I've read all the names. Valesco, Valesco. And then you had Agnabov. than Ryan Carl, the dangerous Ryan Carl. Everybody knows Ryan Carl, man. That's the dangerous person in all 140 right there. Don't nobody want to see no Ryan Carl. But that's who he fought last was Ryan Carl. The deadly, the devastating Ryan Carl. Like everybody knows Terrence Crawford went to 147 because he was running from Ryan Carl. Let me see. They're using the Mexican slash Chico fan base to pay for their pay-per-view. A lot of people are saying Spence will stop Pacquiao. I see Pacquiao whooping Spence if his stamina is on point. I agree with you 1,000% with that statement right there. I agree with you, not 1,000%, 100,000, a million, a billion, whatever, 1,000,000,000,000%. I agree with you. I believe if Manny Pacquiao can keep the fuel in the gas tank, he will make Spence look foolish. Let me restate that. I believe if Manny Pacquiao does not get tired, he will make Spence look foolish. Now, here's the question. Can he stay fully energized or is he going to get tired? That's the $1,000,000 question. I have no idea. I have no idea, but I can tell you this without a doubt. If Manny Pacquiao can stay fully energized from the first round to the 12th round, he will win that fight. He may get robbed on the scorecards, but he will win that fight. Now, let's go here. Tank is going to 147 next and get one of the lower tier belts. That fool's going all the way to cruiserweight. Yo, hold on. We got to do this. We got to do this. Oh, man, I should make a fucking video. Oh, I should make a video. Tank's route to heavyweight champion. That's what I should do. Oh, shit. Hold on. We got to do this. We got to look this up. Hold on. There's got to be a list I can find of all the miscellaneous belts. Hold on. This one's not going to have all the miscellaneous. I need to see intercontinentals. I need to see prospect titles. I need to see all the belts that nobody's ever even fucking heard of. I need to see all the interim titles. Like, yo, I'm gonna type in current intercontinental boxing champions. We need all the current intercontinental champions because these are the ones that Tank Davis could more than likely win a belt off of all the way up to the top. I think right now we could get Tank Davis to heavyweight. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Who is... So, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but his first name is Sandy. And we know ain't no fucking way Tank is going to lose to somebody named Sandy. This motherfucking Sandy Squirrel dude here from SpongeBob, ain't no fucking way he'll beat Tank Davis. Like I said. So, the Intercontinental Champion right now for the WBA is Sandy Messaoud. He's from France. So we know right now that Tank Davis could become another WBA champion at 147. He's just got to beat Sandy. So we'll get him to fight Sandy. No, Sandy. Okay. Who we got? Who the fuck is Cicero? Another Frenchman. It seems like all the Intercontinental titles are French fighters. He could get super welterweight or junior middleweight, whatever you want to call it. And there's good news, too. The middleweight title, LeRon, is vacant. So he could fight anybody for a vacant title. The light heavyweight Intercontinental Championship is also, and the cruiserweight is vacated, too. So all those titles are vacant. We could definitely get them up there. Bro, wouldn't that be some shit if Tank Davis just took on Intercontinental champions from here on. Don't forget, y'all, if y'all been listening, hit the thumbs up. It helps out a lot. And if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and sub to the channel. And when you sub to the channel, hit the notification bell. Because if you don't hit the notification bell, you'll never get updated when I drop videos. And I'll never get your views, even though you're supporting me. Let's see. He said, multi-division champion. Tank Davis could have more titles and more divisions than any fighter ever before in history to beat champions that we've never even heard of. He could beat the most unknown champions and have the most belts in the history of boxing by beating nobody if they play the cards right. All right, let me see. It's extremely hard to TKO Pacquiao. If he gets in such situation, it will bring out the dog. It will bring out the dog out of Pacquiao. That fight is going to go the distance. So I don't know. I don't know. It all like I said, the Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr. fight all is going to be contingent on Manny Pacquiao's gas tank. That is 1,000% what that fight is contingent on. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Manny Pacquiao slows down around I'm getting tired. Around round 9, like he did against Keith Thurman, there's a very good chance Errol Spence will knock him out before the 12th round. He cannot slow down like he did against Keith Thurman because Errol Spence is a big welterweight. And it's not good to be getting hit by a big welterweight when you're a very small welterweight. So he's just Manny Pacquiao has got to keep that gas tank on full. He has got to. He is that is he don't even need a train technique. The dude already knows everything he needs to know. He needs to just work on his endurance. They need to put him in front of a heavy bag for 3 hours straight and tell him to never stop throwing punches. Then after that 3 hours, they need to get him to run for like 2 hours straight. Never stop moving your legs. That's all they need to be doing. This needs to turn into a fucking marathon run. I'm telling you, Manny against Earl Spence Jr. cannot afford to slow down. If he slows down, he might get put down. It is going to be very dangerous for him to slow down against Earl Spence Jr. But again, if Manny can keep that fuel tank on E, that's the worst thing for him to do. I'm getting so tired, y'all. If Manny can keep that fuel tank on F, full, not E, then he can beat Spence. He just cannot afford to slow down. I'm telling you, if he slows down, he will get put down. It will not go the distance if he slows down. And I saw a video of Earl Spence Jr. today. He's looking in really good shape. Like he already looks like he's trimming down. So like normally Earl Spence blows up in weight to like, I don't know, probably 170, 180. And it's all alcohol normally in his gut. I just seen a video put out of him today where he was already looking like he's taping down in weight. Like he's tapering down. That means he's going to be in very good condition for Manny Pacquiao. And he's actually taking it serious. He doesn't want to look like Keith Thurman. So Manny has got to work on that stamina because if it's not there, I don't see it going well for him. But again, if Manny wasn't as old as he was, I would pick Manny hands down for a prediction that he beats Errol Spence Jr. I don't think when it comes to skills, there's anything in the world Errol Spence can do that would cause Manny problems. I don't think he's that good on. Now, I'm not saying against other welterweights, but I don't think he's on the level of a Manny Pacquiao when it comes to skills. It's just the gas tank and the age, and the older you get, the quicker you can get tired. It just all comes down to what Manny has left in the tank. I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, the Manny that fought all of them, the Manny that fought Oscar De La Hoya, the Manny that fought, oh man, the way that he fucked up Ricky Hatton, even though Ricky Hatton came up from 140, the way that Manny fucked up Ricky, oh my goodness. Like, there would be no questions. There would be no questions. The only reason why there is a question is because of his age, and his with age comes stamina. And that's the thing about it. You cannot afford to get tired with a guy like Earl Smith Jr. The only reason why Mikey Garcia did not get knocked out is because he literally ran from him. Like, I never say boxers run, but Mikey Garcia ran. He ran. He ran. Like, they should have painted a fucking lines and put rubber on that fucking ring, because he was running circles. Like he was in a track meet. Like, he fucking ran from Spence. And that is the only reason why Earl Spence Jr. did not knock Mikey Garcia out. So the reason why Mikey was able to run like that, though, was because he didn't get tired. He had been training. He had his little headband on, like LeBron James, had his little water bottle, and he was just running the track. But yeah, I cannot see I can't see Earl Spence Jr. beating Manny Pacquiao if Manny Pacquiao can stay fresh for 12 rounds. I can't. I don't think he's skilled enough. I don't think he's on that level. And I don't think Earl Spence Jr. can go anywhere but 147. I think if he goes up to 154, he's going to get beat up by those guys at 154. I don't even think he could beat a Herd. I know he can't beat Charlo. And the thing about it is Earl Spence Jr. has to beat Manny Pacquiao. Not only does he have to beat Manny Pacquiao, but then he has to beat Bud Crawford. And that's a fight I know he's not going to win. That's a fight that I know Earl Spence Jr. cannot win. He cannot beat Terrence Crawford. Bud is going to fuck his whole world up if he'll ever fight him. I know he cannot beat Bud. Bud is too fucking good. Let me see. I wish Pac would have taken the Crawford fight. We don't have time for Earl and the PBC. Well, here's the thing about it, LaRon. I would rather. I know the type of mentality that Manny Pacquiao has, okay? Manny Pacquiao is a true competitor and a true champion. So I would much rather see him fight Earl Spence Jr. first, because I believe he can beat Earl Spence Jr. I honestly believe he can beat him, contingent on his gas tank. However, I don't believe there's any way possible he can beat Terrence Crawford. So I would rather see Manny, if in a perfect world, I would rather see Manny beat Earl Spence Jr. and then fight Bud Crawford, assuming that Manny won. That's what I would like to see. Because if Manny would have fought Bud first, I think that's where the Manny legacy stops. I don't see him beating Bud. I can't see it. I don't believe it. Just like I don't believe Earl Spence Jr. can beat Terrence Crawford, I don't think Manny can beat him. I think Terrence is way too good. He said Manny versus Hatton was at 140 lineal. I wasn't saying that, Hoblo. He was talking about the intensity, the type of fighter that Manny was whenever he fought Cotto. And I was just saying people that he fought when he had that knockout power, that he was going on them streaks just tearing people up. So that's the point I was making. Not so much at welterweight, just the intensity and what he had. I think Pacquiao will come war ready. Let me put that up there. He knows that very well, that stamina is the key for him. He said Crawford deserves to take Earl's O. Well, I don't know. Because here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it, LaRon. In my opinion, Terrence Crawford or Bob Arum, whomever, they fucked up. Because the Manny Pacquiao fight is a legacy fight. So if Earl Spence Jr. beats Manny Pacquiao, that is a legacy-defining fight. I do not believe right now Earl Spence is anywhere close to being in the Hall of Fame. But if he beats Manny Pacquiao, he's automatic Hall of Famer. Automatic. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, period. Even if he never becomes undisputed, even if he never wins another belt in another weight class, by beating Manny Pacquiao alone, he will be in the Hall of Fame. Period. Now, the thing about this fight is, it's the type of fight that you say is a passing of the torch. So if Earl wins, he gets the torch, then he may or may not fight Bud. However, if Manny wins, then that's a great story too, because he arguably beats either the number one or the number two guy at welterweight. If what it'll be 43 years old by the time the fight happens, 42, 43 years old, that's a story. So I don't really care. If Manny beats him, it's great for Manny's legacy. And then Manny will go into the Bud fight. I don't think Manny will retire. I think he'll go straight for undisputed. And if he gets undisputed, then that's something Mayweather didn't even do. Now, Mayweather will argue that he was undisputed because he had 3 out of the 4 belts, but he was never a 4-belt champion. So if Manny goes undisputed by beating Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. to become undisputed, and then I honestly believe that if he beats Errol Spence and beats Terrence Crawford, then he'll officially have beat more world champions than Floyd Mayweather, who currently holds the record as well. Let me see. Tony, I think Crawford is overrated to a certain degree. His chin is questionable, and he hasn't fought anyone. I mean, can you really say that Taylor's had a better run at 140? Can you really say that? Because you got to think about this. Terrence Crawford beat Gamboa before Gamboa ever had a loss, and Gamboa was a pound-for-pound top 10 fighter. Terrence gave him his first loss. And Dongo was talked about by everybody. And guess what? He gave him his first loss. Then Postal, am I remember correctly? Postal, he beat him. I believe he gave him his first loss as well. And Josh Taylor struggled with him badly. I'm going to type in Josh Taylor's name because I believe it was Postal, but I always get him and somebody else confused. Let me look. Let me go down. Yeah, I was right. Postal. Yep. And whenever Josh Taylor fought Postal, he struggled way harder than Terrence Crawford did. So you got a common link opponent between the two of them. And Crawford looked better against him. So I understand that you have Taylor, who's beat the Ramirez, he's beat the pro grade, he went through his tournament. But at the same time, I don't know if you could say his resume is better. But that's the thing about it. It doesn't matter. The point that you're missing is Crawford was the one that gave them their first loss. So it's been seen way too often in boxing that fighters aren't always the same after they get their first loss. And the thing is, too, is with Ramirez, when he fought Postal, a lot of people believe Postal beat him. So you got to think about that too. Nobody argues that Victor Postal beat Terrence Crawford, but Ramirez, who fought Postal, a much older Postal at that, argue that Postal beat Ramirez. So even with Ramirez, he looked worse against Postal than Terrence Crawford did. So now you have Josh Taylor, who looked bad against Postal. You have Ramirez, who looked bad against Postal. Then you had Terrence Crawford, who gave him his first loss, looked way better against the same guy. They all three have them in common. But the one that looked the best against him when he was undefeated was Terrence Crawford. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Josh Taylor goes up to 147 next and fights Terrence Crawford, The only way Terrence Crawford loses is due to his inactivity. Because if Crawford is on his game, like he's been on his game, and he's 100% and he's not ring rusted, he's going to knock Josh Taylor out. I'm telling y'all that right now. He will knock Josh Taylor out at 147. I, I promise you, if Josh Taylor goes to 147, Terrence Crawford will knock him the fuck out. He will be sleeping. It's not going to be a TKO. Exactly, Pablo. So did Ramirez. Way later. They both struggled with him. They both did. Ramirez just fought post hour before he fought Josh Taylor. That was the fight that got him into the Taylor fight. And he would, like I said, a lot of people argue that he lost that fight. But that is the fight that got him to fight Josh Taylor. Here's the problem. Here's the problem that I see. If this was Pacquiao 10 years ago, I would agree with you. But this isn't. Terrence Crawford will knock out a 43-year-old Manny Pacquiao. He's going to knock him out. I promise you. Just like I promise you that he'll knock out Taylor, he's going to knock out Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if Earl Spence Jr. can beat Manny. Like I said, that fight is contingent on the gas tank. But I know without a doubt in my mind that Terrence Crawford will finish Manny Pacquiao. The thing about it is, and I've made this comment on several other people's channels, Terrence Crawford has something that I've never seen before except for in anime on Dragon Ball Z. When Terrence Crawford gets hurt, when he gets wobbled or he gets knocked down, the very next second, this motherfucker pops a sensu bean and goes Super Saiyan. He literally goes Super Saiyan and then continues to fuck that person up badly. Every time he's ever been hurt, the motherfucker goes SSJ1. He ain't got the 2, 3, and not 4 yet. He ain't got the blue. He ain't got Ultra Instinct yet, but he goes fucking Super Saiyan 1 and starches the people who hurt him. Man, you think very little of Terrence Crawford. Let me tell you something. Keith Thurman couldn't even beat Mean Machine. You're about to find out. Virgil Ortiz is about to fight Mean Machine, and he's about to get knocked out by Mean Machine. So I don't believe Keith Thurman can beat Cal Velasquez. I don't believe he could do it. I don't think Keith Thurman, first off, I don't even think Keith Thurman is the same fighter that he once was. He looked horrible against Josecito Lopez, and then he got in there with Manny Pacquiao, who he claimed had little bitty T-Rex arms, but then got put on his ass. With all the injuries and the inactivity, I don't think Keith's the same fighter. And what's it been now? 2 years since he's fought. Manny has an excuse for not fighting that long because of his age. Keith Thurman had no excuse. He should have been had a fight back since his loss to Manny Pacquiao. I don't see Keith Thurman causing any issues at all. Because if he gets two-pieced by Crawford like he did against Manny, oh, he's done. That fight's over. He ain't getting up. It's going to be a one time for him because he's going to hit the ground one time, and that's going to be the end of the fight. Me personally, I believe that Terrence Crawford is the best 147-pound fighter there is right now. I believe Terrence Crawford is so dominant at 147 that he can go up to 154 and be competitive. That's what I really believe. I believe Terrence Crawford, he's just on another level when it comes to skills. I will give Crawford that. Oh, I think you meant to say I won't give Crawford that until he fights a legit welterweight. I don't understand how people are saying a legit welterweight. So his first fight at welterweight, he beat Jeff Horn, who took the belt from Manny Pacquiao. Now, regardless what you say about Manny beating Jeff Horn and should have won that fight, because I agree. I had Manny winning that fight. But that's not the point I'm about to make. When you watch Jeff Horn fight Manny Pacquiao was at times getting manhandled and ragdolled. There was a difference in strength in the pocket and in the clinches. There was just a difference. You could see Jeff Horn was the much bigger, stronger person, okay? Now, the very next fight for Jeff Horn, he fights Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford made Jeff Horn look like a fucking child. He made him look like a little toddler. Like, you know how a dad plays with their toddler? That's what Terrence looked like in there with Jeff Horn. He made him look like he was just play fighting. Like, come on, man. You know I'm not being serious with you. And then the little kid hits him one time too hard or accidentally hits his dad in the nuts, and the dad hits him with the backhand, and the fight's over. That's what Terrence Crawford did to him. He made him look like a child. Manny didn't do that. Manny won the fight, should have won the fight, I should say, but it was a tough fight. Terrence went in there and just fucking manhandled the dude. He beat him up so bad, I think Jeff left the division after that. He never even came back to welterweight. He went up. Like, how you get beat so bad you leave the division? Anyways, moving past that. And then you have, like I said, Mean Machine, Cal Velasquez. We're about to see how good he is because a lot of people are saying Virgil Ortiz is going to be the next guy. That's the guy. That's the prospect. People are big on Virgil Ortiz. Okay, well, here's the deal. If Virgil Ortiz gets in there and gets starched, knocked out very quickly by Cal Velasquez, then what are people going to say? Are people going to say that he beat a legit welterweight then? If Cal Velasquez goes there and beats up Virgil Ortiz? Will people give him credit for beating him? Or is Cal Velasquez still not a good fighter? Because to me, I think Cal Velasquez beats a lot of the PBC fighters. I think he could beat Keith Thurman. I think he'll beat Sean Porter. I think he's going to beat Virgil Ortiz when they fight. And Boots, it would be, I don't know who wins that fight. Boots and Cal Velasquez would be a very good fight because I don't know how well Cal Velasquez could deal with the speed of Boots Ennis. So that fight is up in the air for me. But the other guys, I think he blows right through them. If Bud resigns with Top Rank, he don't want no smoke. That's the problem with the PBC and the PBC fan mindset. Don't nobody want to fucking sign to your side of the street. It shouldn't nobody have to sign to their side of the street to be able to fight their fighters. That's why so many people don't like the PBC. Protected boxing champions. That's the problem. Like, once a PBC fighter gets a damn belt, it never leaves the PBC because they make sure that PBC fighter never fights anybody outside of the PBC. That's what I don't like. Oh, well, if you don't sign to us, then you can't fight one of our champions. You're on the other side of the street. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's the wrong mindset. That's what kills the sport. I don't care if people are PBC, Top Rank, Matchroom, The Zone, Queensberry, etc. Top Rank. I don't care who they fight with. If you've earned your shot at a title, you should be able to get it regardless of who your promotional company is. The belt should not be held hostage by no organization, promotional company. They just shouldn't. But unfortunately, they are. And unfortunately, it all seems to be the PBC be the main one keeping people from fighting their champions. That's my biggest issue with the PBC, that they can never get anybody to fight their champions that aren't PBC fighters. And the narrative that if you want to fight us, you got to sign with us. That's that Don King narrative. That's that bullshit. Because I remember whenever Holyfield, right? Whenever Holyfield fought Mike Tyson, he had, or was it Lennox Lewis? I don't remember. Whenever one of them fought Mike Tyson, they had to sign with Don King. That was a part of the contract. Like, what? You don't get out here with this bullshit. But anyways, I feel like this. If Terrence Crawford can't fight Earl Spence Jr., he needs to go up in weight. He needs to leave welterweight and just win a fucking title at 154, and then it doesn't matter anymore. You win a title at one. Well, that would be. I mean, pretty much it would be Castaños or Charlo, because they're the only two with a belt, and they're about to go for undisputed. So, but you just go up there and fight them. Get undisputed at the next weight class if you can, and that trumps anything. Then everybody will say Errol Spence Jr. ducked him if he can go up there and win the title. But I don't know. Me personally, I like Bud. I think he's a very good fighter. I understand why people get mad at Bud. I'm not trying to deflect from that because if Bud fights fucking Zepeda or Regis Prograis, I can't co-sign with that. That'll be bullshit. Like, why the fuck are you going backwards? Why are you fighting Zepeda or Regis Prograis? He said that's just quack language. But yeah, I would not like that at all. Like whenever Bob Aaron brought out Zepeda or Regis Prograis for Bud, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like that don't even make sense. But again, if he makes a move like that, I cannot defend. I've been said I can't defend Bud. Bud used to be my number one pound for pound, but he's been inactive for so long. I got Canelo number one, and I got Inoue number two. Bud's my number three. And if he doesn't fight in October, he's gonna fall behind Usyk, especially if Usyk beats Anthony Joshua. He'll definitely be behind him. Hell, I might even put him behind fucking Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury is my number five. So Bud may fall way back on my pound for pound list if he don't fight soon. But anyways, guys, I think that's all I got. I'm getting really tired. My throat's getting really dry. I was already tired when I got on an hour and 30 minutes ago. But decent live. Had people typing. New people I've never seen before. So, you know, we agreed on a lot. We disagreed at the very end, but it's all good. I respect your opinion. You could be right. You definitely could be right in everything that you said, and I could be wrong. But that's the beautiful thing about combat sports. When they fight, we all get the answers of who's right, who's wrong. So it is what it is. But on that note, I'm going to bed. I hope y'all have a good night. I thank y'all for joining me. Don't forget hit the thumbs up on your way out. And if you like it, sub to the channel. Also, if you're listening, if you comment on any of my videos, I always respond. Whether you agree or disagree, I appreciate that you take the time to talk to me, so I give my time back to you by talking back. Thank y'all again for listening.